All right, so we're live. I if you saw the previous video on Friday the 13th, I got my eighth tattoo, which I is the thumbnail. And of course it's upside down because from my perspective, it looks upside down. From to the rest of the world, it's right side up. And that is the universal way in which tattoos, there's certain rules for tattoos, and that's how it's supposed to look. So it's upside down to me when I took the photo. It'll be right side up for everyone who's seeing it. And it is a skull and crossbones because I am a fan. I love Sailor Jerry. I love old school, traditional Americana tattoos, um, which is what Oliver Peck at Elm Street Tattoo, what he specializes in. And I don't know, I kind of, because of the nautical, I don't know, sailor, navy connotation, as well as for El Dia de los Muertos, um, the Day of the Dead. But then I realized people probably are going to think I got it for Johnny Depp, and I really don't care about celebrities that much. So I didn't get a. I have a couple sparrow tattoos, and Johnny Depp has a sparrow tattoo, but no, I didn't get it for Johnny Depp, and I don't care about those movies based on a Disney theme ride. But yes, I went there on Friday the 13th. My friend, my bestie, um, she knows Oliver. I guess she's been going to him for decades, and they kind of grew up together, maybe because he's from this area, and of course he was the judge on Ink Master, um, as well as being he was previously married to Kat Von D, and she was I think 2 years. And I remember that popping up. Uh, But yeah, it's Friday the 13th because Friday the 13th, going back to the Knights Templar and why uh, Friday the 13th in October, also October the 13th, 1311, and why that was considered unlucky. So it's to ward off bad luck, and it's also a um, appreciation for your clients. So a lot of your regular clients who come in and spend $100, $200 or more, now they're coming in and they're getting a little tiny tattoo that's about 1 inch long and maybe 1 inch wide or less, and it's only $20. I think maybe when it started in the 80s and 90s, maybe it was 13.13. But it's a cute little tattoo, and I'm addicted. I want more ink, but I don't want to. I would rather wait because I've been getting tattoos since I was 20, and my second experience was I had a really bad experience, and I'd rather have quality tattoos than yeah, it's quality over quantity. So I'll just wait. So I'd rather not get them if I have to get crappy work. I'm very I believe I still believe my body is a temple, and this is how I choose to decorate it and turn it into art. But it's yeah, it wouldn't be worth it just to go to some random dude's house. There's a lot of sketchy guys on Craigslist that tattoo out of hotels or something, but I'm not. I would never like. I would shy away from that. Um, and so I'm watching. So in preparation, and if you go to Paramount Plus, the app will give you the first week free, and then I subscribed. But you can watch all of the Ink Masters, like 1 through 13, with Oliver Peck, Chris Nunes, and Dave Navarro, who is a hottie. Hi, Jessica. I got my first tattoo when I was 20 and I graduated college and started teaching. I got a butterfly. So I've been watching like all of Ink Master, and then I watched some of the Redemption. I didn't watch the Grudge Match, and I didn't watch Ink Master. I watched some of the Ink Master Angels. I've also seen Tattoo Nightmares where they do cover ups, but Yeah, I think what it actually is because I started going to a church, and something maybe only people in Texas or North Texas knew about this. It showed up as a parody on King of the Hill. But my church was like like a like punk rockers for Jesus, and they would hit the skateboard for the Lord, and that's how they would fellowship. Uh, so I started getting all these religious tattoos, and that's what got me back into tattooing and obsessed with tattooing because my pastor was on Miami Ink, getting a tattoo of Jesus Christ. So my very first tattoo was when I got my first check teaching. So I was 20, and that was a tiny little butterfly. Um, and that wasn't a bad experience, and it cost $60, and it wasn't as painful as possible. It wasn't that painful. I thought it was going to be a lot worse. And then I got a sacred Om, the Hindu symbol for God. I got a sun ring around it. I went to this other woman in another shop, also in downtown Dallas, and I got a sacred Om. It had sun ring around it, and I don't know if that woman just wasn't very. I don't know. I don't know if she just didn't know what she was doing, or if she was like a sadist, because she was literally just digging the tattoo needle into my back, and it's a tiny tattoo. My other tattoo is like the size of a quarter, this little butterfly. And then the one on the back of my neck, which is in a really tough spot that hits that bone. So anywhere there's bones, like in your hands and your feet, that's really painful. Anywhere there's nerves, rib cages are painful, back and knees and elbows are painful, back of your elbows. So those are all, there's very like painful spots. And so she was just sort of digging for an hour to 90 minutes. And it took forever to heal because she was traumatizing the skin, and it was a really bad experience, and it turned me off to getting tattoos. And so, but then on my 30th birthday, I got a nautical star. So that's on my back, my lower back. And then and then every year for 6 years, I got tattoos up until I was 35 and until my accident. So so it was like once a year. So I have a really great piece by Mark Galvan, who was working at Elm Street Tattoo, but now he's moved to Austin. And you should always shout out and, word of mouth, talk up your tattoo artist, because it's a word of mouth business. Also on social media, if you post your tattoos, tag your artist in their shop, and, to thank them and to like maybe pull people in, like word of mouth, um, say something positive about them. They really appreciate that. Um, so yeah, I got the sacred heart of Christ, and it's red, and I wanted black, but he changed it to green. So it has green thorns, and then a cross and fire coming out of that. And whether I'm here or in Mexico on vacation, I get stopped, and everyone really likes that. And it says Mark 16:15. Yeah, I have a high tolerance for pain, which turned out to be a good thing. Um, but it's a really nice piece. In Mark 16:15, in the book of Mark, the gospel, it says, um, and Jesus said, "Go out into the world and preach the gospel to every nation and every living creature." So people stop me, they want to know about that tattoo, what it says. And so then I tricked them into giving them the gospel because was, we were street preachers before. That was before my accident. And I really wanted to be a missionary. And, but then I had my accident. That was when I was, I think, 31, 32. I got another sparrow. I got two sparrows because I've been to Europe and back. And every time you cross the Atlantic Ocean, yeah. So every time you cross, sailors would get a tattoo going back and forth between the, Europe and the New World, and that's because tattooing really began out of for sailors, and they would dock in different ports. They would run in, get a tattoo, and leave. And if you go below the equator, you get a turtle as a souvenir. Oh, thank you, Jessica. And so, because of the Galapagos Islands, sorry, I'm tongue-tied. So, yeah. I have two sparrows, and one says, Luke 13:3, and Jesus said, repent, or if they repent or perish. And then my other one is Matthew 6:25. Seek the kingdom of God and his righteousness first, and do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will bring its own troubles. Meaning that even though I'm a Christian, I do not get to live a trouble-free life. I get to live a worry-free life, and I'm a worrier, so that really helps. Then I have an anchor and a heart and 13 stars on my thigh. And that says Acts, ACTS 1:8. Empowered by the Holy Spirit, you will be a witness to Jerusalem, Judea, Samaria, and to the ends of the earth. So, and now I have my little Johnny Depp, Pirates of the Caribbean tattoo. Because what they do is you go in and you pick a flash, and it's called flash because obviously it's not going to take them very long to do it. You pick it, they stick it. Sometimes they call them bangers. You just bang out this little tattoo. So I like it. I want to get more. I want to get indigenous pinup girl on my arm, on my right forearm. And I want to get my dog kind of a new school cartoony version of my dog Lucy, of her face and name. And I want to get that on my arm next to, so it would start at the ditch, which is what they call the elbow crease. And it would go pretty much almost up down to like maybe an inch from the skull and crossbone. And then I might get a little generic kitten tattoo and have Otis's name. Because right now I have Matthew, Mark, and Luke, the gospel, those names on my back. So I don't know. I've never asked. I never asked a guy if that bothered him because I stopped dating when I got those tattoos. So I don't know what a future partner or husband would think of that. I've considered getting the face of Christ, and I've considered getting a mermaid, like it's some kind of Celtic version of a mermaid. So that would have something indigenous and Irish. But this, yeah, I'm not an expert, so I don't know. I only have small to medium-sized tattoos. So it is different when you go in and you get like a whole sleeve done or your whole back done. You get to go through multiple sessions, or you have to sit there for 8 to 9 hours. I've only sat for 2 hours, and so I guess you could ask your local tattooist. But these are some of the advice and frequently asked questions and do's and don'ts. And it's a fairly short video. Yes, it hurts. If you are afraid of needles, if you can't handle the pain of getting a piercing, like your ears pierced or a needle, it's basically needles. It's like well, they don't call it don't call it a tattoo GUN. They call it a machine, and there's coil and there's a rotary. And coil is the old way of doing it, loyal to the coil, and then the rotary machine. Because tattooing in the last 20 years has completely changed. It's very up to date. It's very modern because now they have different machinery, different equipment. You can get all of your ink pre-done, pre-mixed in little. And now you have a smartphone in your hand, so you can pull up any kind of reference, so they know exactly what something looks like and how the light maybe falls on something if they're doing a realistic depiction of a, you know, a lion, which apparently I think everybody. Yeah. Sometimes there's things that are really popular that tattoo artists hate doing. I think they've done a lot of compasses and roses and uh, lions wearing crowns. I've been watching Ink Master, and then I watched a lot of videos from Inked magazine, which is I think the best industry magazine for ink for the tattoo industry. And they talked to some of the celebrity top name tattooers who charge like $2,000 a day. That's their day rate, and you have to put a deposit down. And you go to them, and you're like, "Oh, I want a mermaid," and then they give you their version of a mermaid, and they're like, because they're artists and they're kind of stuck up about it, and it's like gatekeeping. But I just like, walk-ins at an open shop, and it's not like a snotty hipster or prima donna, artist. Like it's still a service industry. You are making money based on um, satisfying your client. So there has to be a give and take between what they want and your artistic vision, because they're going to wear it on their skin for the rest of their lives. And even if you try to get rid of it or cover it up, it's always going to be there. It's a lifetime commitment. Um, so it does hurt. It feels like a hot needle burning your skin. Um, it it's just that I have anxiety about doing it because I know it's going to hurt, but I know it doesn't hurt that bad. And you just have to like get it and get it over with. And it's really about your mindset. If you go in very positive, there's no, I mean, if you're going to scream and cry and make it, I mean, that just makes it worse. So just go in and like breathe through the pain, pray, meditate through it, sit very still. You don't want to start flinching and moving because that'll mess the guy up. And, you don't want to get a jacked up tattoo because you wouldn't sit still. So you just want to sit there very calmly and like breathe through the pain and kind of meditate through it. But I've only sat for 2 hours. So I don't know if I would ever try more than 2 hours. I know people do like they sit for big pieces and they, instead of coming back multiple times, they'll just sit there for 8 or 9 hours. I think I would definitely tap out. And if you are, I mean, definitely there are certain things that you should do. You don't want to get suntanned. You don't want to be out in the sun like a week or two before. Use moisturizer. That was one of the recommendations. If you are, let's say you're a guy, you're getting your chest or maybe your leg tattooed, go ahead and shave it, but shave it with an electric razor, not the other kind, because they're going to need to shave you. And like I said, I'm part indigenous and part Irish, so I don't really have a lot of body hair. So when they went to do my thigh, um, I was looking, I think I shaved a little bit of peach fuzz. So I didn't really have much hair, but you want to go ahead and make sure that you want to eat a good meal the night before or the morning before. Do not consume alcohol in excess. You can drink moderately, but if you drink too much, you're going to bleed, and it's just really not a good tattoo. I think ethically, I think ethically, um, so tongue tied. Ethically, I don't think people should come in if they're under the influence and they're messed up too bad, because you're signing the consent forms. And officially, I think that's the rule, but I don't know. People probably come in a lot like messed up or under the influence. I have taken ibuprofen before getting a tattoo. I don't know if that helps. You want to drink a lot of water. You want to be hydrated. You want to have a good meal, but not immediately before. So it's like swimming, so that morning when maybe you want to have a good meal, bring Gatorade, your electrolytes, maybe something with sugar in it or a soda. Um, and yeah, it hurts, but you get, but once it's done, you have a beautiful piece of art adorning your body, and you can tell your friends, yeah, I sat through this pain, and it's kind of like a passage, or maybe a ritual. There is a weird thing going on, according to, hold on, Lucy, Lucy, hey Lucy. So there's this thing called the Brutal Blackout Project, because um, yeah, Lucy, we're gonna get Lucy a tattoo. Lucy's turning 12 next month, and she is a Jack Russell Terrier. So I think we have about 3 to maybe 4 more good years together. And she's done a good job being my emotional support animal. So it's called the Brutal Blackout Black Project, and that's where people are going in and getting. Maybe they have tattoos, and they want to black them out and cover them up and just have a black sleeve where they covering up their bad, you know, early bad tattoos they got when they were like 16 in somebody's basement. But now people are going in, and it is like this ritualistic right up, like, and through the pain. I don't know. There are people in the tattoo industry who are sadists, and I guess there's masochists. Most tattoo artists hate getting tattoos. We hate it. It hurts, but it's manageable and you can get through it. And yes, they have some over-the-counter products like lidocaine and numbing agency. Like, so there's stuff to do. And I would start out small. I would get something tiny, but if you get something small, don't get it like on the middle of your forearm and then be like, oh, I should have got something big there, because it's location, location, location. So you want to get something small and in a little small spot. There are career killers. So, and really, when a young person comes in at 18, 19, according to this is from the Inked magazine. They were at a tattoo convention, and they were interviewing all of these known the some of the top tattoo artists in the world and or in the United States. They don't want to, like, if you come in, you're 18 years old, they're not going to want to give you a face tat. So they're going to be like, no, you have to go back, live your life, figure out your career plan before we start putting stuff on your face. They also don't want to give you a hands or neck tat. If you are heavily tattooed already and you're a little bit older, they'll be like, okay, well, you got your whole sleeve done, so we might as well do your knuckles and your hand. Don't ever, it is like a curse or the kiss of death. Don't ever get your significant other's name tattooed on you, because tattoo artists say, that they won't even do those because it's always a bad idea. And like, that's usually a guarantee they're about to break up when people come in and get those. I saw one woman said that she was always a little bit concerned when a woman would come in and her boyfriend or husband or whoever partner would come in with her, and he was telling her to get his name tattooed on her because she had done work pro bono for free at a local women's shelter, and she was doing cover-ups because the abusive boyfriend or husband was like kind of pressuring or coercing the girl into getting his name tattooed on her. So they don't recommend ever getting your partner's name on you, because usually that's a good sign you're about to break up. The mom, dad, kids are good though. Also, the second biggest question is, how much does it cost? So with the Ink Master tattoo artists, the top guys, they're probably charging 2,000 a day rate, 2,000 for the whole day, or they're charged by the hour, which is usually like $100 an hour. So when I had money, the one thing I spent on was vacations and tattoos. So my guy at Elm Street Tattoo, he charged an hour. He charged $100 an hour. So it would be like 160, 200 plus tip. I tip 20%. I think so. I think it came out to be 240. And I think that's pretty standard to get a basic middle level experienced tattoo. So I would just ask. I'd be like, you know what, this is what I want. You know, do you think you can give me this pinup girl? You know, do you specialize in doing faces? So you can, you know, so this look jacked up, or you can give me. I would just ask. I would tell them how big you want it, where you're going to put it, how much time it's going to take. See if you're going to, you know, make it. Oh, thank you, Stinky Fish. So I would just give them those, like, this is how big I want, this is how long I want to set, how much is it going to cost, and they're going to charge you by the hour. If you want color, you want it saturated, you want bold color to pop, or do you want black and gray? Because black and gray takes less time, color takes more time. How detailed do you want it? Because there are micro tattoos that are the size of a quarter, but they have amazing details. And it takes a long time. So even though it's small, it's very detail oriented. And it's also different tattoo places charge different money. I'm sure it's cheaper in Dallas than LA. It's also location. Location. According to the tattoo artist, if you come in and you want to tattoo somewhere where the sun doesn't shine, they will charge you, they'll tell you, oh, it's like $5,000. So just because you want it in a spot where they don't want to spend the afternoon looking at your paint. So they're going to charge you $5,000. They're going to give you some ridiculous amount of money. Like they're going to quote you a price that's insane because they don't want to do it. They don't want to get involved. Some tattoo artists are kind of into that, and they will want to tattoo you. The most tattoo artists don't want to get involved in that area, and for the right amount of money, they will tattoo you there. They want to. So I don't know, but that's what they said, that they throw out ridiculous numbers because they're not interested, and you would have to pay them a lot of money to do tattoos there, but they have done them. And I'm like, wow, TMI. So it is, so the amount of money you're going to pay is based on several factors. Some of them charge by the piece, and some of them charge by the hour, or they have a flat daily rate. Some of the more prominent tattoo artists, they are on social media. Instagram is very helpful to finding a tattoo artist, but don't DM them. They said email them because they get a lot of DMs. So they should have their email in their shop. What I would do in choosing a tattoo artist is I would look at the shop, find out who has the best reputation. I guess look at Yelp, research your shop. So I'm happy with Elm Street Tattoo, but my tattoo artist moved away. So I'm looking at the website. If I might do a little bit of sub work this fall. So if I ever come up with a couple $100, I was looking at the shop to see who are their artists, who does faces. So if I want a pinup girl that's from the bust up with full war bonnet, I would want to go to someone who could do a face that has a little bit of experience doing that. So maybe somebody that's middle level charges $100 an hour. And then I would go on Instagram and start following him, looking at his work. If you don't want to see you don't want to see their portfolio as far as if they can draw. You want to see how well they tattoo. So you want to see the finished product, and the actual photos. There is a lot of gatekeeping with the old school way. Oliver Peck that he started back in the day. He opened his shop in 1988. He started doing the Flash Friday 13th sales, I guess in 1998 or 95. And he started from bikers. It was about a biker club. And that's how he got started. But it's always been kind of like a good old boys, male dominated industry. The last 20 years, the last few years, it has changed. There are more female tattoo artists. There are more people of color. And that And there's a whole new movement that I just found out about called color dysphoria. So, and it's about colorism in the tattoo industry, because you either have to go to someone who specializes on how to complement your skin if you have a darker complexion, or who is a jack of all trade, who's a seasoned veteran master. And it's called master because of the apprenticeship, because of the gatekeeping. You have to go to a master and you have to work for him and do grunt work and be like hazed like in a fraternity or something. And then maybe after a year or 5 years, you finally get to graduate and be a real tattoo artist. But yeah, they're now doing more with you really have to specialize, you have to do a lot of more homework and find someone who knows how to complement your skin, how to make the colors pop. You want to do colors versus black and gray, really good saturation. You don't want to see the finished product. You want to see tattoos after they healed. So you want to see what it looks like like 2 or 3 weeks later when it's healed. Because one of the 3 big issues affecting people of color getting tattoos is the color, the black, grays, is it going to pop? Which colors complement your skin? Because that's part of what tattooing is. It's like warm, cool colors that complement your skin. You can see that contrast. Second, there's a problem with scarring. And I had that problem with my one tattoo not wanting to heal correctly because there was scarring and there was a lot of trauma to the skin. So there is an issue of scarring. And then third is longevity. A lot of people will tell you go get your tattoos touched up, or or expect the fact that they're going to look faded. Other than the sacred ohm on the back of my neck, I haven't had any problems with my tats. A lot of the color is still there. Because I always do color, not black and gray. So it's longevity. Do you want to go get it touched up? Because for a person of color, you may have to go back 5 years versus 7, 10 years if you want to keep the kind of a clean, fresh look of it. You probably will have to go back to get more touch-ups. And then aftercare, you don't want to go out in the sun. You don't want to go in water. You can't get it wet. They're like gremlins. You don't want to go into the beach, ocean, lake, pond, pool. You have to keep it covered up. There is something when you finish your tattoo, they'll put cellophane on it, or they'll put Sanadern or second skin on it to help it heal and bandage it up. I use A&D ointment, the stuff for baby diaper rash. Some people swear by Lubriderm, Aquaphor. There's products that you want to use. I just kept it moisturized because it's basically an open wound. Your tattoo is basically an open wound, and it's healing. It kind of feels like a sunburn. But yeah, that's everything I've learned. I've been researching down the rabbit hole on the tattoo industry and issues affecting it and popular trends. It started with Sailor Jerry. It started with World War II. We had so many people, men in uniform, Navy, Marines, military personnel, and they were stuck for R&R, not stuck, but they were all sort of waiting in between R&R to ship out, and in between their, I don't know what that's called. So they would, so this place in Honolulu or in Hawaii, they catered to the GIs, and you would get stewed, screwed, and tattooed. And that was Sailor Jerry, who was a very conservative, ultra-libertarian, I found out. He's very much a libertarian and very much hated the government. But he served in the military. Yeah, so they would just go in. There were so many people packed wall to wall in this red light district. You would get a couple of shots. You'd have to drink them really quick because there was just lines of men. And then you would, see a girl and then go to Sailor Jerry, get a tattoo, and then ship out. And then it was Ed Hardy, who we know from the t-shirts, unfortunately. He started his own. He studied in Japan doing Japanese traditional which is very popular. And it's also something else that you get Oliver Peg and the Elm Street tattoo. They do, I think, mostly American old school and new school. New school is kind of cartoony with brighter colors, and then Japanese traditional. So Ed Hardy was the first person to say, because Sailor Jerry was like, okay, you're in a hurry. You only got this much time. We're doing a tattoo marathon. You pick out, you go and look on the wall, and you want a pinup girl to look at while you're at sea, or you want an anchor. So you pick out your tattoo, you get it, and you move on. Ed Hardy was the first person to be like, oh, well, you can just bring me whatever you want, or I'll do it freehand, or, so that gave people options. And those two people basically started the tattoo industry. And that's all I know. All right, well, thank you, Stinky Fish. And Jessica Chastain. I never knew intimate or area tattoos cost more. Yeah, those cost more. I don't know from personal experience. Apparently, people don't want to do those, and they don't want to do them so much that they'll charge you 10 times more. All right, well, bye, guys.